am Red Cyclone! Aria!
All right, let's go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome to another episode of the It Gets Better, I Swear podcast. I'm your host, Louis Beans, and I'm here with Merc with the Money.
Man, that shit happens to me all the time.
I was actually reading something. I read. I don't follow her. I should, but I just scrolled up in my feed and it said, "Hi, New York," from Ty Conti. So
Yeah,
I kind of lost my train of thought.
I got to see her live yesterday. She was awesome.
Awesome. That's good. That's good. So what? Since we brought it up, what's the name of the show you went to?
It was NEW WrestleFest. NEW is a Northeast Wrestling Federation that's up in Poughkeepsie.
Okay.
And they run shows. They was running shows a lot. Like 2 years ago. This was the first show back in New York.
Okay, understood.
And so we went out with the guys, Menu with Opinion, with a fellow cast member, and a bunch of other people, and we had a really good time. It was a really fun wrestling event live in front of people. There's a lot of people there that kind of like weirded me out, so I had my mask on the whole time. Yeah, wear your mask, please. Stop spending your germs. I don't want to get sick. I don't want to get sick. So yeah. Other than that, it was fun night. Ty Conti wrestled, and she was great. She actually was very great. She's small.
Yeah, she's a tiny person.
Yeah,
this is true.
Yeah, because I'm like 6'1", so yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sammy Guevara's small.
Yeah,
and Frego. Frego, I'm about like 4 inches, 5 inches taller than him.
Yeah, the master of the tornado DDT.
Yeah. But we have all that on Wrestling Babble. We did talk about it, so listen on there. We are back for It Gets Better. We have Fantastic Four on the rise.
Not the Rise of the Silver Surfer.
No, it's the 1994 Fantastic Four movie for our superhero and comic movies of 2 decades. So this is the reason why we actually did this list. It was mainly to watch this movie. We could have just watched this movie, but we were like, let's do it more and fuck each other up more.
Yeah, I mean, go through a lot.
Yeah, just to get to here. But for early preview, it was good.
Yeah, I like it.
I enjoyed it.
Definitely better than the last movie we watched.
It had the Fantastic Four story. It had what I expect from Fantastic Four. So I think that was what made it worth watching. It was still a little cheap. It was visually hard on the eyes at times. But again, this was never produced to be theater theatrical, so it was a low budget movie and stuff like that. So they did what they did, and I actually enjoyed it. So we'll talk about that later in the cast.
Yes, sir.
So
what
up?
You got? Well, a lot of stuff actually. If we keeping it in the superhero vein, I was telling you earlier, Merc, about the expansion for Marvel's Avengers.
Yeah.
It's called War for Wakanda.
Wakanda.
And this one is starring Black Panther.
Yeah.
Voiced by
Kratos.
Awesome. They have a trailer for the story out. We both have talked about the game Marvel's Avengers. I didn't like it because I felt that it felt like a grind fest. They felt like they were turning into one of those, trying to turn it into an action RPG when I feel that the game didn't need to go down a certain path. Like it felt like it was there's a certain type of game. It felt like a live service game.
Yeah.
Where they make you do certain things, and then next week you gotta come back and do this, and it's like, it didn't need to be this. It could have just, if you would have focused more on getting certain characters feeling better. I thought Hulk was incredibly boring. I thought the enemy types they kind of suck.
It was just
From the demo,
repetitive
from the
as
demo.
shit.
And that was my first impression, and it was like I'm done. I'm good. I did not see the Hawkeye expansion, so I don't know if that part of the game turned it around.
Yeah.
But it's been a while.
I haven't played it. I haven't played the Hawkeye extension. I was trying to get back into it and actually play it, and I couldn't. Like, the moment I did one of the missions, and I just remember how tedious it was. I was like, yeah, I don't want to.
Yeah, I definitely understand that part, because at some points it felt a little grindy.
Yeah.
And that's not what I see for an Avengers game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Same here.
So to that point, I'm just more interested to see what it looks like in motion.
Yeah.
Specifically Black Panther himself, because reading the interview that they have with the producers and stuff on GameSpot, it's very interesting. They're taking inspirations from a lot of things. I told you specifically one thing that made me interested was this. They read something, a short run called Flags of Our Fathers, and it's specifically the line the guy mentioned was that Captain America actually visits Wakanda during World War II, and he meets Zuri, and that's T'Challa's grandfather. And I was like, oh, that sounds cool. That's something I didn't know existed, and that sounds dope. So if they're taking it different types of inspiration from different stories of Black Panther throughout his comic book history, that has me intrigued as to what the story is going to end up being. So I don't know. I might wait for a sale and maybe, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm keeping an eye out on it, because before I didn't care.
Yeah.
So that's got my attention right now. As for what I may actually purchase, just because I did not continue playing, it is one of my favorite fighting games to watch, but as for playing it, I did not play it much after release. We all know how it released poorly, and that's Street Fighter V.
Yeah.
But after, I would say, the arcade edition expansion, it is definitely a better game. Now,
it took like 5 years.
It only took, damn. It came out in 2016. It really did.
No, it took 5 years.
But it took 4 years. I give them all the credit for, like, the last year was when the actual expansion for arcade edition came out.
Yeah.
I think that was the best expansion the game could have had. If that would have came out like in year one, that game would have been, I would have been playing that game heavy. All the best characters and stuff was in there. So anyway, but here we are now, and we're at the end of all the characters for the game. They've announced all of them, but they finally, because I kept talking about it, I was saying, when are they going to show it? So they finally showed the character Oro. He's originally from Street Fighter 3.
Yeah.
He looks ridiculous. He looks weird, and that's what you want from that character. He looks like he's going to be a problem when he's actually out, which is what you want from that character. And then they showed Akira, which is the guest character from Rival Schools.
Yes. And
the not just the presentation, because if you watch the demo they did for her, they did her justice.
Yeah.
No pun intended, because of the game Project Justice. But they actually went through, and I dare to say, since certain people left Capcom that were in charge, I'm sorry to kick dirt on Ono, but since that guy left, it's like they found their nostalgia button, and they realized that there's a reason why people care about Street Fighter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And why it has a legacy that's lasted so long is because, hey, man, sometimes you want to dig into the crates, right? Bring out the cool old stuff. And she's one of those characters from PlayStation 1 and Dreamcast.
Nice.
So that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
And they seem to have put a lot of attention to detail in her stage. They've put a lot of attention to detail in the presentation of a character in general. The trailer they released, I believe it was yesterday, they put the Dreamcast era Capcom logo, which has a jingle to it and everything. Like, dude, I got chills listening to it. I was like, wow, they went to that specific one? Okay. Yeah, so they know. They know. So it's looking real good. And since if you got the last season, and trust me, they try to get people to buy it because it's on sale every other week. So I might be tempted to pick that up just for that character alone. So it's looking real good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I might have to go pick it up and replay. I'm interested in the new character too.
the character Luke, yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested in him too. So I'm like, yeah, I might have to. Might have to.
Mm-hmm.
Not guaranteeing it.
Like I said, it's not a big investment anymore because, again, sure, it'll be full price, maybe day of, week of, but I'm telling you, maybe 2 weeks in, there'll be a 10% off sale, 20% off sale. So
yeah. So yeah. So it might not be that expensive soon. So I'll probably go check it out eventually.
definitely, yeah. It just looks like good stuff. You know what I'm saying? I hope the people at Capcom understand that people will support them if they pay attention to the stuff that people came to them in the first place for.
Yeah.
And things like Project Justice and Rival Schools were different and original.
Yeah.
And they kind of been lacking that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
it's all been the names you know for too many years going on.
Yeah.
It's just Street Fighter. Resident Evil, because it makes lots of money.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 8 made a lot of money, sold a lot of units. And they kind of were, because they were in a bad place with one of the original creators of Mega Man, they were kind of like kicking dirt on him until recently too. Yeah. So they've gotten past that and it's looking good. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe there'll be a Rival Schools revival in the future.
Maybe.
But also, I just wanted to bring some attention to it. I know you know who he is, and just want to shout out Maximilian, because once again, the dude is doing good for the fighting game community, because he got trending and it was picked up by actual news sites.
Yeah.
The free MVC2.
Yeah.
Because apparently the game Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is not purchasable in any fashion.
Yeah.
It was only purchasable on PS3 and Xbox 360, but I believe it was delisted.
Yeah, it had a very, very brief run.
So if you didn't get it back then, when those systems were active, you can't like legally buy it. And forget about buying a copy of the game. It is extremely expensive, even used and abused.
Yeah.
So there's been a huge fan campaign to get the game put back on current consoles and PC, which would be great. But, people don't want just a rush job. They expect the netcode that it had, which was rollback, which for the time was actually revolutionary.
Yeah. And
people nowadays are saying, please stop making fighting games that don't have that, because these quote unquote specialized netcodes, like games like Virtua Fighter that recent release had, games like Street Fighter, which claim to have some type of special rollback, not good. It can't do the job. Not in this country. Those are made for Japan. They don't work the same here.
Yeah.
Guilty Gear Strive is doing an amazing job. You know why? Part of it is because it has that rollback netcode, and people are willing to just say, screw it, I'm buying it. I don't care if I'm not good.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have fun, because they're going to be able to actually play the game online.
Yeah.
Especially now in COVID times. It is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the fact that hashtag picked up actual traction, and then there was like speculation from the reporters. I think one of them was ESPN, because it's crazy who's picking up the stories, dude.
Yeah.
But like Disney is showing interest in it. Like a bunch of news sites are saying Disney is looking at it. So if Disney's massive eye casts its gaze on MVC2, we may get it. I don't.
Yeah.
Question mark? I don't know. Hopefully, right?
Hopefully we just don't get another 4.
Hopefully it's not just guard. You know what I'm saying? It's not bad. Nobody wants a bad port. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think. Well, I wonder how 1UP Arcade got it.
It's not 2.
It is 2.
Are you sure it's 2?
Yeah, one of them is 2.
Really?
Yeah, it's Marvel's Capcom 2. It's X-Men Street Fighter and X-Men and Marvel Street Fighter.
Is it bootleg?
No, it's if you buy the one at arcade, yeah, you get that.
Oh no. Max, you know what? Max actually showed that thing in his house.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's the only way you can play it. If you pay what $200-$300 to buy that thing.
Yeah, and you play arcade, so there's no excuses. You don't have that friend saying, "Oh, I if I had the arcade stick, I could beat you."
$300 is too big of an investment. Nah.
It's nice. They're nice though. I wish I had the space for it.
So,
but they're nice.
Well, if that's the only way to currently purchase that, they definitely need to make it more accessible for everybody.
Yeah.
Because that investment is too big.
Yeah, because I remember them porting 2, and it was like a very short window to buy it.
Okay.
Very short window, and that was at the 360 PS3.
Well, it was out for a good while. It's just the fact that when the merger happened, when Disney scooped it up, they started shutting down a lot of things because they weren't theirs. They don't own Capcom.
Yeah.
So they're like, why should we let you sell this game that has our name on it? Why?
Do we get a bigger percentage now?
They get all the as of that 1-up thing. I assume they get the majority of the chunk there. So
Capcom got the scraps.
So yeah, that's just where that is now, and it just is a shame.
Yeah.
So it needs to be released for everybody again. There's so much nostalgia for all these other games coming out and being re-released. Surprising, you know what I mean?
And it's crazy because Marvel's Capcom didn't really have much of a storyline either. It's just like the gameplay was just fucking fun as hell. Like there was no ending. There was no.
Nope, it's just a generic screen with a bunch of this cool artwork, but it's not really a story. No.
Yeah. Which
the first one had a story.
Yeah.
You fight Onslaught at the end, and he talks to you and stuff. But the second one has like barely any story.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have new characters that came out of nowhere, and like, who the hell are you, Ruby?
Well, there's stories behind, like Ruby Heart and Amingo were supposed to be. Amingo's was supposed to be a Darkstalkers character.
Yeah.
Well, you see what happened to Darkstalkers.
Yeah.
That's dead.
Yeah.
So, Ruby Heart, again, whatever game she was supposed to be in, dead. Yeah. So.
Well, I guess her game is Marvel's Capcom 3 because that's the only game she's appeared in. But yeah, I hope they do that because that was a good dope game. One of my favorite fighting games. So hopefully we see it come back.
Yes, sir.
I got my first like Super 7 figure in my hands.
Nice.
Which I picked up Rocksteady.
Yeah, no, you have the queue of things just waiting. So this is the first one.
Yeah. So this is the first one in my hands. I have have a few pre-ordered. So I have all 4 Turtles pre-ordered. I have Ray Fillet pre-ordered, and I have Bebop pre-ordered.
Okay.
Bebop. I think I'm gonna. As I was saying, I'm gonna attempt to get all the Bebop and Rocksteadies.
Okay.
Because those are my favorite villains right now, and it's especially rewatching the '89 cartoon. I think there have been the most consistent things that I enjoyed off that cartoon was Bebop and Rocksteady. So I'm gonna try to make a little tribute to them. I like them; they're funny. Yeah. So I got it in my hand. It's pretty big. It's Rocksteady's huge. He has a big ass head. He looks a lot like he pretty much is it's a the Super 7's figures are remasters of the '89 figures, and not the cartoon. NECA does the cartoon. That's the difference of the two. So if the toy came out, their edition of the toy, it would be a kind of a resemblance of the old action figures, just with more like flexibility into poses and shit. It comes with a gun. Comes with he has like the turtle elbow pad, the shoulder pads and shit. The black tank top. He looks like the original figure. He looks brolic as hell. I'm actually. See, shit is like I love the way the box looks, but I really want to take it out too. So I'm like, damn.
Gotcha.
That's the dilemma. The other Super 7s I have the Matt Cardona and Brian Myers. I had pre-ordered those a long time ago. I have the Four Turtles. I have, again, Ray Fillet, Bebop, and Rocksteady. Bebop. I might get the Shredder. I saw him in Forbidden Planet, so I might pick up a Shredder. But there was the other ones. I think maybe the Samurai Leonardo might pique my interest to getting, because I just remember having that toy and I loved it. I was hoping they did Donatello, the Detective Donatello. That would have been fucking dope. But yeah, I might look into that. Other than that, like some of the other ones, I didn't really care for, because I wasn't even a fan of the toy when it came out. Like Metalhead, I didn't care for. April O'Neil, didn't care for. But Ray Fillet, I used to play with that figure all the time. So I was like, damn, I gotta get Ray Fillet, because that was like one of my favorite toys when I was a kid. So that I kind of got that more for nostalgic factor. And then yeah. So yeah, Super 7 looks really dope. I love the presentation of the packaging. Makes me want to look into some of the other ones they have. Like I got the Robin Hood and Prince John from the Robin Hood cartoon, so I'm looking for those coming out. I have the Goliath coming soon. I have those big Power Ranger figures coming soon, so I have a lot of shit that I'm going to start filming for unboxings and stuff. And we'll get that on YouTube and start running it on YouTube soon. So I have a lot. There's a lot of content coming. Trust me. I'm trying to I'll even probably make a video of me like trying to fix this fucking display instead of just throwing boxes in there. Okay, understood. There's a lot of work to be done. And a lot of space that I need. Yes, sir. It's getting bad. But yeah, the Super 7 figure, I love the presentation of it. It looks so dope. Shout outs to them. They fucking do some awesome stuff. And it tickled my childhood. This makes me
sir. So one more note about the arcade 1-up. They stopped production.
Oh shit.
Of the Marvel vs. Capcom arcade unit.
Damn. All right, so you can't get it now.
They completely stopped it. Cuz I'm trying to even see which other ones they have. They have X-Men vs. Street Fighter. They have Marvel Superheroes.
Yeah.
They took off the one from Marvel vs. Capcom. It's not on the website anymore. You have to go to a third-party seller to even buy it.
Damn.
Yeah, that's nuts.
So that's gonna be a lot of money too.
I didn't even know they did that. That's crazy.
That's crazy. I didn't know either.
Why do they hate that game so much? Damn.
Like it's too good. Fuck up.
I guess. Yeah, I guess so, right?
We only bring it out. We only bring it back for the right price.
Wow,
$1 million man.
Nuts. That's nuts. That's crazy.
I saw What If this week. It was pretty badass. I liked it a lot.
Nice.
It kind of has like a Twilight Zone meets Marvel vibe to it. Because how Watu kind of presents it.
Oh, so he's like the host. Understood.
Yeah. He presents it like it's like a Twilight Zone. So like this is the multiverse that it was created if this would have happened this way and things like that. The next episode is Chadwick's Roseman's last thing for Marvel. He talked to T'Challa for the what if the Avengers abducted T'Challa instead of Peter Quill.
Okay.
So what if he became Star-Lord? So that's the next episode, and that's also the last thing that Chadwick Boseman did on Marvel. So it's gonna be a very interesting one to watch.
All right.
But the first one was really dope. It was Peggy Carter. What if she got the Super Soldier Serum, and she became Captain Carter because she didn't do Captain Britain, because Captain Britain's a whole different character. And
yes,
I would have accepted it. Like he wasn't introduced. I don't fuck.
Yeah. I understand.
Or Union Jack. I was surprised they didn't use the name Union Jack because that's another character. But it was really dope. I like how the animation works. I loved how the animation looked. If Marvel could do some movies with this animation, I'm all for it. This shit is beautiful.
Oh, good.
I really enjoyed it. And you could tell that they took a lot of scenes of the movie and just reimagined it with the animation.
Oh, okay.
Like it was like a scene from scene kind of thing, but it's just a different characters. And it was really dope. And that's like a really attention to detail. Like remember in the first Avenger when they all come in, you see Captain America front and forward, and with the Howling Commandos. They had the same scene but with Peggy Carter in the center.
Do they?
And it's like tit for tat from the same exact scene, just done differently with the animation.
Now I have a question now. Did they do the what if treatment to the members of the Howling Commandos, or did they not even really go into them?
They didn't really change. The only thing.
Okay.
So something that actually Jackie kind of brought up was because Captain America gets spoilers, but Captain America gets shot becomes she was like, oh, so becomes the new Winter Soldier, and I was like, that'd be
Makes sense. I mean, so did she have a Bucky?
Yeah, Bucky was
equivalent?
still alive because that was Steve Rogers' best friend. Steve Rogers becomes the Hydra Mongler, the Hydra Stomper, which he becomes like Anthony Stark makes a suit for him because he gets paralyzed and shit. So basically, he goes in the suit and he's like Iron Man, and he helps Peggy Carter throughout the show.
All right. So they thought about a whole lot of different angles. That's cool.
And then she gets trapped in the Tesseract fighting a monster. She fights her, and then she lines up in the future, and it ends with Nick Fury and Hawkeye talking to her.
Okay. Which version of Nick Fury?
Samuel Jackson.
Okay.
It was good. Really good. Really dope animation. I think they show live new episodes every Wednesday, kind of like Loki. So definitely check those out. Again, the second episode is the T'Challa. What if he became Star-Lord? I'm very looking forward to that one. Titans, the show, the regular Titans with Nightwing and shit. That started again on Friday as well. First three episodes are up on HBO Max. It's actually really good. I was surprised that they did the whole crowbar to Jason Todd's face thing scene right in the beginning of the show. I was like, oh shit, he got fucked up. So
okay.
It's pretty good.
Right.
If you haven't watched Titans, I recommend it. The first season is kind of tough to get through, but once you get past like the fourth episode, it gets really good. So there's a Batman there, there's everything like that, and it's very, very bloody. So definitely check it out. It's good.
All right.
Yeah, some stuff to watch. Yeah. So now, did we go into this Fantastic Four, or you have something else before we go?
Well, I did want to shout out because of the verdicts that we watched 1992's Batman Returns not too long ago.
Yeah.
And so there's also something coming this fall, they say, is a Penguin one shot written by Danny DeVito. And so that's kind of like, we got to talk about it, dude.
Yep.
We watched the movie recently.
Yeah.
And so this year, we didn't watch it last year. We watched it this year. And that's like, damn, that's crazy. Danny DeVito is writing a Penguin comic. I'm assuming it's going to be his version of the Penguin. So
yeah,
that's actually very cool. I'm not well versed in DC writers and artists and stuff like that, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's for the 80th anniversary comic.
So the person I believe that's involved is Paul Kaminsky.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what role he plays at DC.
Okay.
But I do see that he says he's working with Danny DeVito. So
yeah, so the comic is called Gotham City Villains Anniversary Giant #1, and this is supposed to be an 80th anniversary for Penguin.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I just got the comic. I might have to buy this comic. Yeah. the cover looks dope. It has like Mad Hatter, Penguin, Scarecrow, Red Hood, Talia, Ra's al Ghul, and Poison Ivy on the cover. I'll show you right now.
Okay, good stuff.
Yeah, looks cool. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check that out. I'm actually very curious about the Batman '89 comic as well. So that's another one I'm kind of looking at and wait to like I can read it for free.
Okay, good stuff.
Because supposedly they made their own Robin, they made their own Batgirl. They kind of changed the thing with Commissioner Gordon and things like that. This dude, they're using the likeness of Billy D for Two-Face and shit. So I'm actually very interested what they did with that.
Okay. Yeah. That definitely would be a cool thing to see.
Just saying, Lego Batman did it first. Lego Batman.
I'm mad. Wait a second. You mean tell me they got rid of Chris O'Donnell as Robin?
Yeah, they didn't need it. He wasn't needed. Chris O'Donnell was
I know. Because that technically he was Val Kilmer's Robin.
He's Val Kilmer's Robin. He was. I don't know what he was.
Yeah. Well, then he ended up being George Clooney's Robin.
Yeah.
God damn it.
And Alicia Silverstone was a terrible Batgirl too. So
that movie is something else. All I gotta say is
we're getting to them.
All I gotta say is if you, after somebody described it as Batman 66 as a current day for then movie, I was like, you know what? I kind of forgive it a little bit, because I could see it. I could see it. Especially Mr. Freeze and his one-liners. God damn.
I'm not looking.
I don't even have to say it. You know what I mean. You know what I'm talking about.
I'm not looking forward to that movie.
So, yeah, it's coming, but I ain't mad. But I am excited to see that they're doing different things based on those movies. So that's cool. You know, maybe not that one. I mean, hey, Merc, you gonna get the Batman credit card?
No.
No.
I remember when the Daffy Duck was selling merchandise for Batman before the movie started.
No, I don't.
From the Warner Brothers studio store. He's selling like Batman mugs and Batman T-shirts.
I don't remember the Daffy Duck part. I mean, It was like in the beginning of the movie. It was probably the VHS or just the movie. It might. I don't.
Yeah, I remember that. Get your Bat T-shirt in your Bat cup.
Now I'm definitely gonna have to look that commercial up. All right.
But yeah, I'm actually very interested in that '89 Batman. I might try to see if I could get it, or if it's on their app, I'll probably just download the app for a month and see what's up with that. But that's cool. Yeah, it looks cool. The art looks good as well.
Yes, sir.
Yo, there was a tag team that we watched last night, came out to the Batman Beyond theme song. That was dope.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
What?
I forgot about that.
I heard something about a show recently where people came out to Sonic Adventure music. What is happening? What's going on with wrestling? Independent wrestling.
That Batman theme song is fire.
It's good.
So.
Did they do the dance scene?
No. But I was like, are they coming out to Batman Beyond? They are coming out to Batman Beyond.
Were they good?
They were okay. They were very flippy.
All right. But were they?
They didn't dress as the characters. They just fucking came out to the music.
All right. Now I'm taking a little bit of credit on it. You ain't dress up. You had the opportunity to not only use that theme in particular, but you didn't even go ahead and have like the Terry outfit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
Wow. It's here. Okay. I was looking for the Fantastic Four movie. It didn't show up at first, but it's here. Okay.
Oh man! So now we're getting to our 2 decades of superhero comic book movies. We are at 1994 still with the unreleased to theaters Fantastic Four.
Oh boy, I've heard about this movie like when it first came out. I remember being like a kid and seeing like the very, very not great footage of it.
Yeah.
And the VHS at a convention one time.
This is a movie this is where you went to a convention for. Like, you couldn't find these movies anywhere else. Then you go to a convention, the that guy with all the bootleg DVDs, he had this shit. And Grayson, he had.
And I'll tell you what, the footage that I watched looked almost exactly the same.
Yeah.
The same quality. Even in the 1080p version you found, still kind of looked like ass. So but that's the quality of the footage of the equipment they were using to film this, because it was very low budget.
Yeah.
So.
But
okay, so
what it was.
I have the dates.
Actually. Oh yeah, you do. Go ahead.
So this is Fantastic Four 1994.
Yep.
It was released on VHS somewhere.
Horizon.
May 31st, 94. It actually had a DVD premiere, it says, in Australia. June 29th, 2005. That's crazy. So maybe that's where the 1080p footage came from.
Maybe.
Came from Australia. So how about that? Funny enough, here it also has, also known as AKA, I don't know what that means for this movie, but apparently there were a bunch of different releases. So there's Australian, there's Brazil, there's Canadian, Germany, Greece, Japan. Like, so it made it out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So people got to see it.
Yeah.
It was super low budget and it wasn't produced for theater. So
yeah. For what it's worth though, I felt like this was more Fantastic Four than the newer ones. Yes.
Also, let me clarify. It was PG and it was an hour and a half. So I can definitely say it wasn't written badly. The acting wasn't the greatest acting in the world. The characters definitely embody what you thought of the Fantastic Four. So that's why I give it kudos, because of the camp. Yeah. And the camp it felt kind of like the old cartoon.
And I like Ben Grimm a lot in this movie.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Ben Grimm was Ben Grimm to me. Like I actually saw, like I was like, you know what? I guess me want to watch the cartoon for some reason. I don't know why, but I was like, you know, I might watch the cartoon.
Like, well, which one? You want to watch the 70s one?
No,
I think it's the 60s
90s
one.
The 90s.
Oh, you mean
the Marvel Hour?
That one?
The Marvel Hour.
All before Fantastic Four. Yes, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, it was all right.
I liked it.
Apparently, the second season was the only one that was any good, because I went back to watch the
first season was very campy. It was very goofy. It was funny.
All right, okay.
And that's when they had the fun theme song, and then it got serious.
Yeah, that's why they changed.
And it took away the fun theme song.
That's right.
I love that theme song. That was a great theme
it's
song,
pretty
though.
good.
Great.
It's up there. It's up there.
But yeah, I think Ben Grimm was my favorite character, even though like the makeup work was very bad, but he captured the character thing. Like, he was overprotective with Reed Richards, like he is in the comic book. He was very he was the whole him and Alicia was like, right. The only thing that was missing was what was her fucking what was it, the puppet master character.
Oh yeah,
that's the only thing missing from it. If with Alicia and her getting controlling the sculptures and shit like that. I think they did it like a kind of a mole man kind of character and shit like that. And
the Jewel Master, I think he was called. Yeah.
And Dr. Doom, like, was Dr.
That's
Doom.
my favorite character.
He was Dr. Doom, even though like his suit was not. It looked like a Party City suit, but he captured the character of Dr. Doom. He was as cocky as Dr. Doom was.
It's just, it was his mannerisms. It was the way he talked to people.
Yeah.
It was the way he was just so dismissive and snarky and just a jerk. But he was super intelligent.
Yeah.
And he had everything under control. He even did a little bit of magic, because at one point he like appears in the Jewel Master's hideout in a puff of smoke.
Yeah. Like
a cheap party trick. I thought that was hilarious.
I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this more than I thought I will. Yeah, the visuals kind of like downgraded a bit, and then I had to be honest with the score with it, because honestly, if you had like the graphics of their newer ones, just this story, I think it would be captured more as a better movie.
I think if you had a budget comparable to some of the other movies we watched before this, it would have looked better. That's the thing, because we got to remember it's 1994, so even though it's low budget, it's just the stuff they have isn't that great. But the stuff we've watched, not all of them was blockbusters.
Yeah.
But they had a bigger budget, and therefore that affords you some better looking practical effects.
Yeah.
So Thing probably would have looked better with some money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For 1994. So to that point, I think it was just a victim of not having any money. You know, this was before the boom. This was literally way before anybody started to care about Marvel movies, because DC was already in control at the time. They cared about Batman. You know what I mean? We've already seen 2 Batman movies. So, Scott Steiner, I think he's in trouble. Oh, that's that an ambulance? Why is he over there?
I don't know. Scott
He's in pain.
Scott Steiner didn't like Thing. Yo, like this, I give him credit for the practical effects, though. I think the practical effects they did as best they could. I felt there was some weird shit that was in this movie completely, like the whole Sue Storm and Reed Richards I told you about. That the fact that she was like 10 years old saying, "Oh, I love that man," and then that was kind of weird. The other thing that kind of weirded me out is when he stretched, all you heard was the cracking of the bones, and that shit was weird.
It made me laugh because you just see some of the scenes, you see the fake hand and arm stretch, and then some of the scenes you see the perspective is the camera following his hand. So it's not consistent with how they did his stretching ability. And that whenever I spot inconsistency in movies, that shit cracks me up.
You know,
it really does.
You know what? I'll give this movie credit. I will say if this movie came out like now, it would be very Deadpool like. Because Deadpool was very low budget, and they made the budget work for that movie. So like, the bag of guns he forgets because they don't have the budget for the fucking gunfight. So they go in and do it like that. And I think this movie has that. They use like everything they could probably do, like fucking Human Torch. The last scene of him just being a CGI, orange blur and shit. It was weird.
There were some things that made me laugh because they used like the actual comic book effects for when he was using his fire ability.
Yeah.
Like when they were escaping and he's like trying to melt the wall.
Yeah.
And I looked at it, I was like, wait, that's like the actual. They just cut out the Human Torch's fire blast from the cartoon.
Yeah.
I mean, from the comic book, and just put it in the movie. That's kind of what it looked like. But what I will give it credit for is how it tried to stay close to the source material. And
that's one thing that's gonna get a lot of credit for it. It said very close to. It felt like a Fantastic Four movie. Yeah.
So let's go through the specifics. It's directed by Ole Sasson. I'm not familiar with this person at all.
Yeah, he probably don't direct shit anymore either.
Well, his IMDb goes up to 2016, so that's not that far removed, actually.
Yeah.
Nothing I really know though. Johnny Lee Hooker, Baby Lee, a video short in 1990, Family Style with Chef Jeff in 2013 and 2014. I don't know. So that's about it.
I saw
written by. Hold on, let me just get these people out of the way. Written by Craig J. Nevius, who wrote the screenplay. His stuff is a bunch of like what is Black Scorpion? Because that's all over his stuff. If you look at the main character, she looks like a Cinemax movie. But
yeah, Black Scorpion was like a I think it was a TNT show or a sci-fi show. Yeah.
So
it wasn't good.
It looks like it's Nightman adjacent.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like that quality.
Yeah.
Of superhero show.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Oh, Witchblade.
Yeah, like a bunch of that stuff. Also, the credited is Kevin Rock and Jack Kirby, but obviously Kirby did not have anything to do with it. It says comic book in parentheses for him. So no, he was not involved with the movie. It stars Alex Hyde White, I believe, as Dr. V. Richards.
Yeah.
Jay Underwood as Johnny Storm. Rebecca Staub as Susan Storm. Michael Bailey Smith as Ben Grimm.
Yep.
Ian Trigger as the character we talked about, the jeweler, which is like the mole man equivalent. Yeah. Joseph Culp as Dr. Doom / Victor Von Doom.
Yep.
And let's see, the professor. I don't really remember George Gaines as the professor. Cat Green is Alicia Masters.
Okay.
Then they also credit the guy in the suit for thing Carl Ciafalo as thing. So that's about it. It's about the extent of anybody in this movie. Yeah.
The dude that plays Ben Grimm, he played Super Freddy in Nightmare on Elm Street.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. That's interesting.
When I saw that, that made me laugh and smile. I was like, all right, I'm all for that.
All right.
Yeah, the cast again. It was a straight up, like, you could tell it was a budget movie and stuff like that. But for what they did, they made it feel like it felt like a Fantastic Four, like actually watching a Fantastic Four comic kind of thing. They did a good job doing that.
The I want to say the makeup and hair and makeup for the characters, it's almost one to one. They very much everybody pretty much looked like the character they were supposed to be. Reed Richards looked spot on. Susan looked spot on. Johnny Storm, you could take it or leave it, but you know who he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
The thing as Ben Grimm, I don't really know what Ben Grimm looked like as a dude, so that is whatever.
Yeah, he was supposed to be like because he was he was a pilot and shit, but he was also Reed's best friend and shit like that. So he was always been like bigger shape, and he was a bigger guy because he was like a bully. He helped him with the bullies and shit like that too. So
yeah, that's the interesting thing. They don't really go into. There's no Yancey Street. There's no any of his quirks and stuff that came from like the 70s cartoons and whatnot.
Yeah.
So none of that stuff is there. Yeah. You do hear clobbering time, so you get that.
Yeah, you hear it a few times.
But for the most part, they do a good job of, I mean, story-wise, they do the origin. They start with the Doctor Doom origin, which I thought was pretty cool. They try their best to do the event that ended up breaking them up. But I like how that event ties into the space flight.
Yeah.
It has you see Doom's personality. You get to see his greed for power.
Yeah.
Like, and the first thing in the movie. So they do a good job of fleshing out the characters' personalities. So that's one thing I really give credit for. This is like, at least for Reed, Ben, and Doom.
Yeah.
You really get a sense of those one for one. Like, okay, we took these characters, we read the books, we know who these people are. So you have no mistaking. Like, you're not sitting there going, man, Dr. Doom wouldn't say that, or Reed Richards wouldn't do that. And it's like, no.
Yeah.
Susan Storm and Johnny Storm are a little more nebulous because Sue is kind of I don't know, she's just lovey-dovey in this movie for Reed, like most of it.
Yeah.
And Johnny is literally just kind of angry and or freaked out most of the time. I mean, realistically, if you started to burst into flames and weren't burning up and didn't know why, you'd be freaked out too. Yeah. So, but eventually he embraces it. But I will say one thing: the way they seem to master their powers in the last fight is like, what?
Yeah.
Because Susan Storm never did an invisible force field until the end of the movie. And I was like, wait, but she never trained. How does she know she could do that?
Yeah.
And Johnny never fully turned into the Human Torch until the end of the movie and flew around. Like, how did he know he could fly? So, oh, damn.
You're like, we can't do that yet.
Yeah, we couldn't put those seeds in.
That's our $1 million shot. We can't do that yet.
But aside from those little quirks and things that they missed like that, they really gave you like motivations for everybody. Doom wanted that crystal.
Yeah.
That he knew that it was a source of power. That he could. What was it? They were like trying to use the stars to focus energy through it.
Yeah. Like
cosmic rays through that crystal, which would give them like a pure source of energy, but it ended up backfiring and frying his face. Yeah. Apparently he was already royalty, so he faked his death.
Yeah.
Like, this was just things like that I didn't expect to see.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they had his Laverian connections and his royalty, and they had like his little secret service those two guys was kind of put the comic relief in the movie. I would say even the jeweler and his mole men, they kind of made me laugh because they were just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of bums with guns.
Yep.
It was nuts.
High-powered homeless people.
One of them had a blunderbuss. One of them had like a musket. Like another one had a 6-shooter. Like it was weird, dude. Like,
Yeah.
but it's that kind of quirk that's what you have a comic book movie for. Like
Yeah.
that's not the real world.
Exactly.
So I like that stuff.
So where are you
I
gonna
like
put this?
I liked a lot of the movie. I liked Alicia and how she bumped into him, broke the statue, and how she instantly fell in love with Ben when she touched his face.
You're what I play with all the time.
Like that was just weird. The scene where she's making the face,
Yeah.
and she gets the delivery, but when the buzz is about to be buzzed, she touches the things, Ben Grimm's face,
Yeah.
made of clay, and then she takes her dirty clay hands and rubs them on her lips.
Yep.
I'm just like, man, are blind people really that freaky? What's up with y'all?
This is the second
she
time
gets
we
the-
saw a freaky blonde person.
What's up? What? I mean, I guess all their senses go haywire, huh?
Yeah.
It really does. But just like there's so much to actually like if you like the Fantastic Four, at least from like that time period. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to that, I'll give it a 3.5, a solid 3.5.
Okay.
It's not bad.
So where's it gonna go? So your 3.5s is Meteor Man, Hardware, Toxic Avenger, and Weird Science.
I would put this.
Or Toxic Avenger 3. Sorry.
Oh, this is over that.
Over that. It's over Weird
Yeah.
Science.
Over Weird. Yeah.
Hardware.
Mm.
I think Hardware was actually surprisingly good.
Yeah, I might have to put it under Hardware.
Alright, fantastic.
Because I like Meteor Man as well. Yeah, under Hardware.
3.5. I give it. I'm gonna put it a 3, and I have it right over Guyver, right under Rocketeer.
Okay.
Because Guyver, I don't forgive it right now. But I was very, very pleased with this movie. Again, this is the reason why we actually started doing this, and I feel like that movie was worth it. Like we actually really enjoyed it, and it was a fun movie. And again, there's honestly, if you could do it with a bigger budget, I think it would have been such a better movie and presented Fantastic Four a lot better if they had the money to do it. But they did the thing. They had the suits. They had the blue and white suits that made no sense. But they all had they all were made for their powers, because Sue Storm didn't mention they were all made for their powers.
Yeah, she mentions to Johnny he's a flame retardant
Yeah.
after she throws it at him because he says you look like a dork.
Yep.
Like I like the personalities of each character. It's
was
like
there.
that's really what made the movie good. It's like
Yeah.
everybody stood out as their own individual. You can remember them.
Yeah.
And the thing I feel that would be lost though if you made it nowadays, I feel like these movies try to be too serious. Like that new one, they just go too hard with the trying to justify why this is realistic, and everybody's got to have these different types of things in their backstory, and you got to go with this. Somebody would be like, well, this guy's messed up from his childhood, we got to put this in the movie. It's just like this movie is just campy.
I think my biggest issue with the newer Fantastic Four movies is that it's not about the family.
Yeah,
Fantastic Four are not superheroes. They don't consider themselves
Yeah.
superheroes. They are adventurers. They are explorers. They are scientists. They are family. And then family comes first. They never made a movie that centered around the family. They always made it a action adventure or a superhero movie. They don't consider themselves superheroes. If you ever read a Fantastic Four comic and everything like that, they help when they need to be helped for scientific reasons more than anything.
Yeah,
But for this said, I think they captured what Fantastic Four is more in this movie than they did in any of the new ones.
I agree.
And I kudos to them. Like I actually enjoyed it. Like I thought it was gonna be a shit show, and it was actually quite enjoyable. So next week, our movie is Jim Carrey, The Mask.
Nice.
I love that movie.
It's been a while since I've seen it, but a really long time.
I really love that movie. That might be a bias fucking reading as well because I love that movie. Yeah. So we have The Mask next week. We have The Shadow the following week. Time Cop week after that. Batman Forever, Crying Freeman, Darkman 2, and Judge Dredd will be the next 2 months, pretty much.
Oh, Judge Dredd. I can't wait for that. I turned a real big corner on that one. I used to hate that movie.
And then,
it was just...
we're getting there. Our list is getting smaller and smaller. We have a Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight. We have Tank Girl. We have Barbed Wire. We have Black Mask. We have Crow City of Angels. We have Darkman 3. Generation X, The Phantom, Vampirella, Batman and Robin, Men in Black, Orgasmo, Spawn, Star Kid, Steel, Blade, Spectre Gadget, Mystery Men, Virus, Citizen Toxie, The Crow Salvation, The Specials, Unbreakable, and then we end with X-Men.
Okay, gotcha.
There's a lot of shit in there.
I can't wait to see Steel again. Oh boy, that has my favorite bad scene in any movie ever.
Yeah,
when Shaquille O'Neal is scaling that building.
Yeah,
like it. You have to see it to believe it. Oh boy.
Yeah. So we are almost We're almost actually done with our list. Our list is like less than halfway right now. So yeah, The Mask next week, and we'll be back done.
Yes, sir.
So we wrap this up.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the It Gets Better I Swear podcast. Make sure you check us out anywhere and everywhere. RedCycloneInc. That is Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram. That is YouTube. That is Spotify and SoundCloud. And also we got a WordPress, so check it out.
Yep.
Where you at, Mert?
Follow me on all social medias. I'm on Tumblr, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, and SoundCloud, all Mark the Mic. Follow our Facebook pages, the Wrestling Babble and the RedCycloneInc pages. We are very active on there as well. Our easiest way to follow our podcast is Spotify. It has all our podcasts. We have our weekly, the Wrestling Babble, and the Gets Better Swear podcast. And then we also have our monthly, the Morphin Cast, the Shell Shock, the Game of Rage, and the Not a Trekkie podcast. So
nice.
Check all those out. We do a lot of work. I watch a lot of shit, and it works that way.
Nice.
Always remember, follow the Jinkies.
He's got sandwiches because he knows how to drive. And if you don't give him to him, he'll run you over. So they give him to him.
Just throw it at his face.